So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Starmer urges Sunak to use the Good Friday Agreement to solve the Brexit crisis. So this title is misleading from the BBC. What he did was he asked for the Sunak to use the spirit of the Good Friday Agreement. The idea of cooperation, amongst other things, to try and get a resolution to the protocol issues that the DUP and some of the Tories have. He also he gave a great speech, like a genuinely great speech. And we'll be looking at that towards the end of the video. But he also told Sunak to face up and challenge the ERG, the Brexit cult, that will not be satisfied. And it's about time someone stood up to those bunch of clowns. So Starmer has urged Sunak to use the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement to fix minds and resolve the Northern Ireland Protocol dispute. So Sunak told Biden that Sunak would resolve the protocol issues and get a further agreement with the EU by April, which is looking likely. The UK is actually building more border control posts and giving the EU access to the live data to goods moving from GB to NI, which are both good signs. The Labour leader offered help to get a protocol deal through Parliament if it fails to win enough support from the Tories. The time to put Northern Ireland above a Brexit purity cult, which can never be satisfied, is now, he said. And that's a big statement from Starmer, that the Labour Party will step in and help get this over the line. You don't see that very often in British politics, but the issues in Northern Ireland go way above party politics. This is what I wanted to see from Starmer. If you wanted to look like a Prime Minister in waiting, this is how. But above that, if you want to look like you actually care about an issue, this is how you do it. This is so much better than what he's done for a while now. In a speech at Queen's University Belfast, Starmer urged Mr Sunak to break the deadlock with the EU over the protocol. Quote, "There is a small window of opportunity before April. We've got to use the anniversary to fix minds, get the country and its political process moving forward again, deliver for the people of Northern Ireland," end quote. He talked a lot in this speech about the spirit of the Good Friday Agreement, the compromise, the idea of looking forward. The situation right now in Northern Ireland is untenable. You can't have one party just stop the democratic process over an issue when they have no control over it. The protocol was an international agreement that goes over the devolved government. He said, quote, "If there is a deal to do in the coming weeks, whatever political cover you need, whatever mechanism in Westminster you require, if it delivers for our national interest and the people of Northern Ireland, we will support you." On Thursday, he met political parties at Stormont to discuss the protocol issues, describing those talks as constructive. Protests by the DUP against the protocol led to a collapse of the Northern Ireland's power-sharing executive last February. The Labour leader said he would continue to listen to the concerns of the unionists, including the DUP, saying, quote, "Of course there will be difficulties, but I do offer support to the government, knowing what the challenges are," he added, end quote. He also reiterated that the Prime Minister should repeal the controversial bill going through Parliament to end investigations into the Troubles killings, a proposal Northern Ireland Secretary Chris Heaton-Harris said would be a retrograde step. So another bold statement. Truss and Johnson both kept the protocol bill, the Northern Ireland Protocol bill, as a nuclear option or more as a loaded weapon, but that's not how we'll get any progress on the issue. And Starmer talks about that. He also talks about the Northern Ireland Troubles Bill, which is horrendous, as it would absolve British troops of any potential crimes in their actions during the Troubles, which means victims and their families would not get the justice they deserve. Finally, it would breach the Good Friday Agreement according to the UN. So this bill is just not a good idea. Starmer has pitched himself as a Prime Minister in waiting during his talks with local politicians and business leaders. While he hasn't offered any solutions to the protocol problems, he has offered his support to the government. And that's some BBC analysis, which is kind of garbage, because he has offered partial solutions, which, getting a veterinary agreement with the EU would lower a lot of the checks within the protocol. It might be less than what the EU proposed back in October, but I'm unsure on the specifics. So the EU proposed a cut of around 80% of the checks that would be required in the October proposals, but I think getting a veterinary agreement might be lower than that, but I'm not 100% sure. With a 70-plus majority in Parliament and two high-profile Brexiteers in Northern Ireland office ministers, Chris Heaton-Harris and Steve Baker, helping to steer the protocol negotiations, the government is unlikely to meet much internal resistance. However, let's not forget, Steve Baker is also the same guy who said he's happy to implode the government over the Northern Ireland Protocol and other aspects. Securing the support of the DUP for any deal agreed with Brussels will be a real challenge. The odd thing is, once Baker became a minister, he changed a lot, or seemed to. He did mention the need to rebuild our relationship with the EU and Ireland, and apologise to the EU for being antagonistic, but then later on also said, I'm ready to blow this whole thing up and end this government if I have to. So if we cut to Starmer and just listen to part of the speech, I'll link the speech below if you want to listen to it. It's a lot better. It's a lot better in terms of content and delivery, I think.
So I say to the Prime Minister, if there is a deal to do in coming weeks, do it. Whatever political cover you need, whatever mechanisms in Westminster you require, if it delivers for our national interest and the people of Northern Ireland, we will support you. The time for action on the protocol is now. The time to stand up to the ERG is now.
The time to stand up to the ERG was a long time ago.
The time to put Northern Ireland above a Brexit purity cult which can never be satisfied is now.
Facts, and he looked decent. Oh, I've paused about an awkward frame there. I can't help that. The guy looks awkward, but it's a very good speech in terms of content, in terms of delivery, and this is the guy that I've been waiting for a while now to turn up and actually start doing more. He's still dodgy on the NHS and certain aspects of Brexit, but at least with Northern Ireland, you have someone who is competent and looks to actually know what they're talking about, and seems to care about Northern Ireland at least a lot more than I think certain other prime ministers we had, like Johnson and Truss, most definitely. So yeah, you got to give credit to Starmer where it's due. I know people get mad when I criticise him, but I'm actually giving him credit. So if you do actually watch this video, just know that I'm not just some guy who attacks people for no reason, not politically anyways. There is some credibility that should belong to this channel, at least I hope so. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.